Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course, and as you can see from the title of this video, I'm going to be giving my commentary on Dustin Ross's interview with Kimmie regarding the most recent episode of Love Marriage Huntsville. You know that Carlos King has brought in podcaster Dustin Ross to interview a different cast member of the show each week. We have to see if he gets to interview Melody Cherie. I'm pretty sure, oh my gosh, if he interviews Martell, no telling what will come out of that man's mouth. I'm pretty sure that Carlos King is being very strategic in the order in which that Dustin is talking with the cast members. But we're going to go ahead and jump right on in. She's going to speak on the Melometers. She's going to actually admit that Martell is not always a nice guy, like she likes to say. And she also speaks on one of the newer cast members, Trisha. Now, before we get into these sound bites, I ask that you all please hit the like button on this video. Even if you were to hit the dislike button, either one of those work the same, meaning that YouTube will recommend this video to more people who enjoy discussing the various topics surrounding Love and Marriage Huntsville. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. I would definitely love to have you as one of the showstoppers. And everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on these sound bites are allowed for criticism. All right, so now that we have taken care of business, we can get into these sound bites. So this first one is going to be Kimmie speaking on the Melometers. So I will play this sound bite and then come back with my commentary.
We saw you guys have that sit down. I think you were at a plant shop, right? When when we saw that sit down, Melody had a couple questions about why you and Letitia had not attended her live podcast taping with Carlos King there in Huntsville. And you mentioned specifically that some of the fans had kind of made it a little difficult when it came to engaging with them. Fans of Melody's specifically have been a little challenging to like you and Letitia. Break that down a little bit more for us viewers. Like, what have you experienced at the hands of some of the fans that can get, we know the fans love you guys' stories and they get very, very passionate about what they see on screen. So what part of the experience for you, specifically with the Melometers, has been the most challenging that kind of made you say, you know what, I might sit that room out this time?
Well, I think for the most part, for the podcast in general, the fact that Melody was Carlos's main guest, that the assumption was made that primarily a lot of Melody's fans would be there. And they expressed their unhappiness with, things I've said or things I've done, or maybe if I didn't necessarily agree with everything that Melody had said. And I guess just like me, like they don't hold no punches. Like they don't hold no punches. And so, like, in my opinion, I'm in charge of my piece. And I'm not gonna go back and forth with somebody about a 42-minute edited show. Yeah. I appreciate people who can understand that you get to see what the producers want you to see. And I can understand people making judgment based off of that. I really do understand it. I don't understand direct, malicious, vicious attacks. Those I do not understand and I don't appreciate. And you can have your opinion. I said from the beginning of this show that the reason I like it so much is because I think all of us are very different. And so if you don't care for me, that's cool. You can like roll with T, you can roll with Mel. If you don't care for one of them and you want to hang with me, okay, we can do that. You know what I'm saying? Come on over to the Kim Zone. We cool.
Yeah.
But and literally, like, even if you look at my block list, I try not to block people. I don't do that. Like, if you can come over to my page and say your piece, I'm open to your piece. I promise I am. If you disagree with how I talk to Maurice, I'm okay with that. You ain't have to agree with everything I do, but you don't have to talk to me crazy. You know, that's where my line gets drawn. My line gets drawn at talking to me crazy. And for anybody who doesn't appreciate that, so be it. But that's where I draw my line, is talking to me crazy. And I felt like the environment might not be suitable for, you know, going back and forth. I just wasn't in the mood to like go back and forth. And I could have assumed wrong, to be perfectly honest. It might have been a poor assumption. But at this point in my life, I take control of my peace. Everybody on this show has a moment when they want to control their peace and they want to detach or they want to do whatever. So the fact that I chose that moment to be in control of my peace was just, you know, part of my decision. And I don't have a lot of back and forth with the Melometers personally. You know, I really don't. But the few that I have had have been not pleasant. Like, I just ain't into the name calling and stuff. Like, I just don't see room for that. I think everybody can have their opinion and just kind of move on. Like, and if you don't like what I put on my page, roll on past that. Like, just roll past that. So, you know, that was just my choice. That was just my choice at that time.
Okay. So I feel like, in my opinion, Kimmie and Trisha, when they decided not to attend the podcast show in Huntsville, I think that they tried to blame the Melometers, like Melody definitely clearly described at the podcast show. What was edited out of the reunion for season 6 was the cast coming after the Melometers. I think that they're trying to blame them not attending on the Melometers, as if someone could become mean and negative suddenly just at the sight of Trisha and Kimmie. I believe that had they attended the podcast show, Carlos would have acknowledged them, that they were in the audience, just like he did Stormy, and then he would have returned right back with his line of questioning of Melody. He would have continued on with his show. And the Melometers would not have been rude when they got to see Melody Cherie in person. When he acknowledged Kimmie and Letitia, it's not like anyone was going to start screaming insults at them or walk up to them and curse them out. The audience would have remained quiet because they would have wanted the show to continue. So I don't think that Kimmie and Trisha, you know, have the ability to really change the atmosphere, shift the energy. Although they're trying to say that they felt like if they had attended, it would have been a negative energy. And I just don't buy that. I think that they did not want to see Melody amongst all of her fans and getting applauded and supported in person. They see it enough on social media. They just did not want to experience it in person. And I think Stormy, I think she's nosy enough that she wanted to go in person and see how many Melometers came out and what the energy was like. She knows that that was a good show. But Kimmie and Trisha, they know that the Melometers would have been supportive, and they just did not want to experience that in the physical sense because they already experienced it online. Now, one thing that Kimmie was truthful about in that soundbite, she said that the Melometers do not hold any punches. They are direct. So I appreciate her being honest about that. And yeah, that is what she had to say. But I think that, you know, they're all on this kick. The Scotts, every chance that they get, they're going to try and blame the Melometers for something. But I think that they do not want to experience the support the Melometers give Melody, especially since they were all not trying to give her that support. Hence, the purpose of the Melometers coming to be. Now, in this next soundbite, so Dustin is actually going to ask Kimmie her thoughts on Martell's arrest. And while Kimmie does admit that Martell can be awful, Her response is still watered down. She still goes in very lightweight on him. But I'm going to go ahead and play the soundbite and then come back with my commentary.
His brother Marcel Scott kind of held Marcel's feet to the fire and spoke directly to him about recent developments and things that were going on in that end. How do you feel about Martell's decision and the choices that he's made at this point when it comes to like the situation with him and Bailey? How do you feel about the whole arrest moment, the video being shopped around allegedly? How does all of that make you personally feel about your relationship with Martell at this point?
My relationship, it's troubling, and part of the fact that it's so troubling is that the person that Martell can be is a nice person, and then the person that Martell can be is not nice. And I know the fans take pleasure in coming to my page about, oh, you think he's so nice. However, the part that hits the editing room floor is the part where I say, when he's not nice, he's awful. And we've had conversations before in regards to, temper control. Just temper control, like how he speaks to us, like, chill out with that. So I think sometimes a knock on the head is a learning lesson in regards to you. I'm sorry doesn't fix everything. I'm sorry doesn't, mean much if you keep doing the same stuff over and over and over. So I was appreciative that Marcel and Maurice had that conversation with Martell. It might have been too little too late, because maybe they should have been having over and over and over and over and over. Because a lot of the choices just has rabbit hole their situation into a place that makes it hard to recover ever. It's just something I'm sorry it's not gonna fix.
Yeah. I was glad to see them have that conversation, and I think it was just another indication of the original friendship that you spoke of, that you all.
Okay, so when I think of this soundbite, generally, I think of the term war of words. It wasn't a war, so to speak, between Dustin and Kimmie, but both of them used some trigger words that I just really found interesting. So Dustin said, he asked Kimmie, what were your thoughts on his arrest, and what kind of bearing does that have on you two's relationship? And I guess he could have said friendship or business relationship in terms of filming for the show. But when Kimmie heard him say relationship, she kind of turned to the side and was like, relationship. And then she started giving her opinion. I felt like she was very careful with her words. She used the word troubling. She didn't say disturbing. She didn't say triggering. As a woman, I would never want that done to me. She did not mention the revenge piece specifically. She did not mention the video. She just said that when he's nice, he can be nice, but when he's not nice, he can be awful. She said that he talks to them, kind of in a way that they don't like. And then she kept using the term temper control. They try to talk to him to get him to, I guess, manage his temper. Why are you still going so lightweight about his behavior? Like, why? You have this opportunity, especially as a woman, to really keep it real and say, women, especially when they love someone, they deeply care for them. Yeah, they might send a picture, okay? They might participate in a tape, but that does not mean that the guy gets to turn around and show it to people and threaten them with distributing it publicly because they get mad at them. Really come hard, Kimmie. I don't know what day you and Dustin recorded this Zoom interview, but this is on the heels of CNN releasing that video of Diddy beating the shit out of Cassie. Like, stand up. I don't know. Maybe they just filmed it yesterday or a few days ago, but just really just be a woman and just stand in it that we cannot be mistreated. You know, when they get mad at us, and then it's always in the form of sex shaming or harassment or stalking or worse. So I was disappointed because Dustin really gave her the opportunity to speak, and she totally blew it. Totally blew it. But am I surprised? Absolutely not. Now, she claimed that, just speaking earlier, going back to Melometers, she claimed that people were really vicious with the name calling. I've heard Kimmie be called like a pick me or a snake. This soundbite definitely supports the claims of her being a pick me, 100%. So then Dustin asked Kimmie about the newest cast member, Trisha. And I guess Kimmie definitely doesn't want to be accused of what Kiki has been accused of, which is leaking scenes before they air. So she's definitely going to tiptoe around the question.
Here, there's some new people in the mix this year. Mm-hmm. We met Trisha on this episode, who we know is a personal trainer. Her and her husband, or her and her partner, are very, very focused on physical fitness. You can tell they look incredible. And we know that Trisha has some other connections to people in the cast. Are you in relationship with Trisha at all during the season? Will we see you interact with her moving forward? Or what can you tell us about the addition of Trisha to the cast this season?
Listen, Trisha is probably going to talk about us bad in her confessions.
Oh, no.
I'm saying, because that chick look good. Like I'm saying, like her body is amazing. She is like put together nicely. And Jesus still working on our baby bodies and all that kind of stuff. So I get to know Trisha during this season, and I did not know her prior in any shape, form, or fashion. I think some of the other ladies had actually met her going to the gym and that kind of thing in passing. And so I do get to know Trisha a little bit better during the course of the season, and some of the things that go on in her world that she cares to share, which are fascinating. Yes. So I think that it'll leave a lot of space for conversation. Everybody getting to know them will leave a lot of space for conversation. I think it's a good thing.
You're a pro, Kimmie, and we love that about you, because the way you just answered that question, there being space left for conversation based on someone's participation means we're in store for a ride. I'm picking up what you put down.
So obviously, Carlos King and Dustin Ross, they definitely check out Queen Sheba's channel, because they already know that we know that allegedly Trisha is married, and the gentleman that she's dating on the show is the side dude, allegedly, and Martell is some sort of icky side dude. But Kimmie obviously knows something. And so she said that there's parts of her life that she will share that is fascinating. And then Dustin said, you're obviously telling us that we're going to be out for a wild ride. I'm picking up what you're putting down. He knew to ask a question about Trisha, and Kimmie knew how to answer it. So I cannot wait as the episodes unfold. And shout out to Queen Sheba for spilling that tea. But I guess every time someone is asked about any potential future episodes, people are going to answer the question as professionally as possible without giving anything concrete away. Perhaps the takeaway for production with Love and Marriage Huntsville at OWN, they probably need to give reality TV stars some sort of crash course on when they do interviews with bloggers, not to give things away, or some sort of ethics course. That would be the takeaway, I would say, from the business perspective when it comes to Kiki, but definitely Kimmie handled that well. But I thank you all so much for watching this video. I always appreciate the support. Please hit the like button on this video, because it is a free way of supporting the channel. And please subscribe to Shows Style and Spirit if you have not already done so. What do you think about Kimmie going so lightweight with Martell? Does it give pick me vibes? Also, I will definitely be giving some more content tomorrow, Sunday. I'm going to be just speaking on some other scenes, some other visual video, because all vibes, DC vibes, where they do not want to play the clips that they want to play on Instagram. So I saw the Amy Winehouse film. It was definitely good. She was very passionate. And I did not realize that she loved, loved, loved jazz music. She had a picture of Billie Holiday. In the movie, she's talking about Dinah Washington, and her grandma was talking about Ella Fitzgerald. They were very close, so I think that her grandma or her nan influenced her to love jazz artists. She also loved Lauryn Hill, and I just didn't realize that she was so influenced by Black artists, but she wrote her songs, and it was important to her to really talk about the true aspects of life and how it's not always like roses and flowers. And watching, the struggle with addiction, it was definitely quite sad. Addiction just rips such special people from this earth. So it's a blessing when you have enough self control not to drown your sorrows out with alcohol or abuse your body with drugs when you experience a struggle or a setback or depression. So kudos to you all. Pat yourselves on the back. You know that when things do come your way, your coping skills are so strong that you do not have to resort to addiction. But rest in peace to Amy Winehouse. Definitely a talented star gone too soon. But I will talk with you all soon, and I hope you are enjoying your weekend. Bye.